All right, you ready?
Yep.
Now, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey there, true believers. Want to know if Gwen Stacy's a villain now?
What happened to S.H.I.E.L.D. after Secret Empire?
Who would steal Tony Stark's limp, lifeless body?
Find out all of this and more in this week's episode of 6 Months Behind.
All right, you want me to count us into the regular intro?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 Month Behind podcast for the week of 4/23/18. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
And this week we are Iron Man and Doctor Strange because we saw Infinity War. And if you didn't, I don't know what's going to happen from here, so you might want to go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw Infinity War. We'll try not to spoil it for you up top here, but yeah, it was great. If you haven't seen it and you're listening to this podcast, pause this podcast and go see the movie.
Yes. Now you've been warned twice.
Yeah.
Dude, it was awesome. It was just awesome, man.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. It was really good and also in ways very sad. And I don't know where we go from here. I really don't.
I don't either. But they'll go somewhere. The Russo brothers have a plan. The Russo brothers and Kevin Feige. Is it Feige?
I think it's Feige.
Feige have a plan. So
that's what I'm told. I'm told they have a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was outstanding, man. I really, really enjoyed it. It was all I hoped for. It's hard when you take something with that much expectations and it lives up to it.
Yeah, and you deliver on it.
Right. Like we're going to the Beale Street Music Festival this weekend. I know what bands I want to see. I know what my expectations are. And very often those bands meet them, but they don't exceed them very often. Like I saw Robert Randolph 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we saw the drunkest dude ever in the tent.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just, holy cow, was he good. That's exceeding expectations. That's what Infinity War did. And you got all this hype, you got all this build, and it still managed to exceed the expectations.
Yeah, and even some surprises, which for geeks like us, you know, you kind of know what you're getting. And this time I left the theater very surprised.
I did too. I did.
There were things that happened that I didn't expect and outcomes that I didn't expect of things that I knew were going to happen. So
yeah,
it was a big deal. I'm looking forward to Captain Marvel now. Ant-Man and the Wasp might be okay, but
what you think of that Deadpool trailer?
It looks good. I mean, you know,
it looked better. I mean, I think that's the first trailer we've seen with finished computer graphics on it, and it really looked good. And it had dude in it. What's dude's name? Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, the one guy who just showed up.
The one guy who's just like, I saw the ad.
I saw the ad.
He's just a regular old dude.
Deadpool's okay. You're in. Dude, he's got his own Twitter account. He jumps out of the airplane with him. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Domino just because I can't remember her name. She's in that show Atlanta that I really like, and I like her as an actress.
I haven't been watching that yet. Is it good?
I'm actually wearing an Atlanta shirt.
I saw that. It's an Amazing Adventures from Atlanta, but I wasn't aware of what it was.
They took all the Atlanta characters and made them into like a comic book cover. You can watch the first season on FX. Dude, it's good. Donald Glover is writing and directing and acting in the whole thing, and as always, Donald Glover is brilliant. He looks good in Solo too, which we saw another trailer for.
Yeah, another good trailer for Solo.
I'm a little more excited for Solo now.
Good.
Just because, I don't know, that first trailer didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I expect it to be pretty good. We'll see what happens.
All right.
That comes out.
They both come out in May.
Yeah, I was going to say, that one comes out in just a few weeks, doesn't it?
Both of them do.
Deadpool, and then when does Ant-Man and Wasp come out?
Weekend after July the 4th. It's like July the 8th or something.
And then we get Captain Marvel in the fall or
no, Captain Marvel has been pushed back to 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, that article I read, I'll find it and try and send it to you. It went everything that was in Captain Marvel, and it was kind of like the first Ant-Man movies. They had director problems, they had producer problems, they had casting problems, and it's gone from fall of 2018 to spring of 2019.
Well, that's no good.
Yeah. Considering they're still filming and, it's due out in about a year. That's yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these days it takes 9 months to a year to do post-production. So yeah, they got to get that thing in the can, dude.
They're on the gas pedal.
Yeah. Well, at least they've got Avengers 4 done.
Yes. And they're working on the post-production for it.
Yeah. If it's not already done, because they filmed the two at the same time. So they got some headway on it. At least I would expect.
Yeah. They're filming them back to back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
mostly because they had to release some of those actors from their contracts.
Yeah. Yeah. They just wanted to get it over with. And that's the only thing that I guess Marvel wanted to keep it a surprise, but anybody that says Avengers 4 isn't Infinity War Part 2, they're just trying to mislead you. It is, man.
They announced it that way, and I understand that the Russos they didn't want it to feel like just a really long movie cut in half. So I get that. So they took some steps to differentiate the movies from one another, and I get that. But it's part 1 and part 2, man.
It's part 1 and part 2, man. It is.
Yeah. It was announced at a time that it was popular to do the part 1 and part 2 thing. Now it's not so popular to do that. So they're going to call it something else, which we won't know about until probably 6 months before it comes out.
They really kept a lid on some of this stuff in Avengers 3. And I guess they're going to do the same thing with Avengers 4, man.
That's their plan. I mean, they're not even to understand how much they're not talking about it. They're not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios is not there.
Yeah.
No panels in Hall H, nothing.
I know.
Dude, that's serious.
That is serious secrecy and a serious relaunch.
A lot of people think it means Kevin Feige's leaving.
I don't know. I don't follow those rumors like you do.
Well, I don't follow him heavily, but a lot of people have speculated he's moving on, which, you might as well go out on top, right? I mean, at this point, he could literally walk into any movie studio in Hollywood and say, I want to do this movie. And they'd throw fistfuls of cash at him.
I would assume he's getting paid, man.
He's got to be. He's getting paid.
Because the movies were just taking off when Disney bought Marvel. And I assume as part of that purchase, he got paid.
I would assume so. Speaking of, did you notice Jim Starlin and a bunch of the writers got credit in the movie?
Yeah, I wonder if that and a daughter will buy him a cup of coffee.
I read that interview with Jim Starlin about a week ago, and apparently he did get a decent bit of money for his contributions to that movie.
See, he's one of those guys, man. I mean, he's like 70. Why not just ride off into the sunset and enjoy your retirement?
I think he likes doing it. I think he likes playing with the characters of Thanos and all those guys that he created. But I think he likes writing comic books.
Yeah, okay. If it's a job, I don't know. I don't know, man. You reach a point where you're just like, peace out, going to see my kids, my grandkids.
Yeah, I understand. He was doing comics hot and heavy in a time where none of those people were making money doing it. So I don't know. I mean, it may be one of those things that he just, I don't know. He probably just doesn't have, I don't think he has the money that we think he has, or that we speculate that he might.
Doesn't take that much.
Know.
Doesn't take that much money.
Does it? I don't know. I have no idea.
Not really. Dude, I'm really having trouble staying focused.
Yeah, me too.
Your maid is behind you bringing your laundry in.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to email us,
folding it very neatly and putting it on your bed.
Yeah. If you want to tell us what you think of Infinity War, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
I wish I would have known how to take a screenshot at that. If I'd have printed the screen right at that moment, I promise you, I'd have put it up on www.6monthsbehind.com. I'd have put it there in a heartbeat, man.
Anyway,
we do talk about spoilers, both of the movie and the comic books. So you've been sufficiently warned at this point.
Absolutely.
Yep. First up, we have Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 5. I assume you're not reading this.
I glanced at it.
How does it fit into the continuity of Amazing Spider-Man?
I don't know, because it's in continuity. I mean, it is, but I don't how it fits. I don't know.
I don't either, man. But Adam Kubert's art is I wouldn't say great. There's some panels that are really good. There's several pages and panels that are really good. You got the Vulture, who's got hyped up powers thanks to the Mad Thinker, and he's after the Mad Thinker's brother. Yes, the Mad Thinker's brother, who's been helping all the heroes, and the Vulture dumps a building on him because he's got powers to do that now. And Peter Parker's sister, which I'm still trying to figure that out, takes off after the Vulture. Spider-Man saves Watu. I don't. He's dissing on that Aunt May again and never going and seeing her. He dumps Duder to stay with Aunt May, and there you go. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's his sister who's not really a sister, and
yeah.
Apparently, this book gets really good later because people are raving about it.
Well, let's see. We've warned them about spoilers. Countdown. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot going on with J. Jonah Jameson in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been warned about spoilers. You can skip forward about 1 minute right now. It's in either issue 6 or 8 that he reveals that Peter Parker is Spider-Man to J. Jonah Jameson. That's why everyone is raving about the book. Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued.
And it's not this kind of, he walks in, sits down, takes the mask off, and has a conversation for, I believe, a full issue with Jameson. Because if you've been reading this book, Jameson's on one of his infamous witch hunts for Spider-Man, and he wants an interview with him. And at the end of this book, Peter's like, "Okay, I'll get you an interview. I'll get you one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe this is going somewhere.
That's where it's going, man.
Cool. Well, then in Spider-Gwen number 25, as we saw at the end of last issue, the Venom symbiote is now with Gwen Stacy, so she is now Gwenom. And under the influence of said symbiote, she goes on the hunt for Rhino, who put her dad in a coma. So she busts up into a bar in Hell's Kitchen somewhere and beats the crap out of some guys and says, "Tell me where to find him." Meanwhile, Rhino is sitting in a bar with Matt Murdock, and Matt Murdock's trying to convince him, you need to lay low, or otherwise we're both going to get exposed. Rhino refuses to do it. So Matt Murdock sells him out. Tells Gwen Stacy where he is and where to find him. So she goes to find him at this bar. They start to duke it out. When the police show up and she realizes she's been set up by Matt Murdock, that is when Frank Castle returns. Yeah. So, that's where that goes. And I'll let you finish the issue yourself to figure out what happened.
Yeah. That's our Spider-Man books for the week. This weekend in the X-Men, we have X-Men Gold number 15, continuing the Mojo Verse storyline, Mojo Worldwide Part 3. Actually, there are parts of this that aren't bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad storyline at all. I'm actually kind of enjoying it.
Because what happens is Mojo isn't getting the ratings bump he wants. So he continually throws them into different scenarios. Like there's the Extinction Agenda, there's X-Men versus you get AVX. He just literally keeps throwing them into situations, trying to get the ratings bump he wants. Finally, at the end, you have a Sentinel empowered with the Phoenix powers, which, is pretty freaking cool. Now, there's some interesting things along the way. You got Jean Grey, or not Jean Grey, Rachel Summers having a conversation with Madeline Pryor, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, which is basically her other self.
Yeah, you've got young Cyclops coming to the revelation that he's been working with Magneto, and, that's just a bad idea.
Well, he reveals it to the whole team. Like, he says, yeah, by the way, we've been working with Magneto, and holy crap, I just now understand what that means.
Yes, and they all still think he's dead. So there you go.
Right. Not only is the revelation that he's alive, but the other X-Men team's working with him.
Right. They're using the Mojoverse as a plot device to get the characters in different situations, get them interacting with each other, get them in different places. That's fine. It's cool. It's just not, I'm never a big fan of Mojo.
Me either, or Longshot, who always seems to come along with him. But this is not half bad, and you see where this is a way for them to put certain characters together and have particular interactions.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Then we have Generation X number 7. Quentin Quire and the X Kids crash some swanky party full of villains to steal something, and Jubilee goes on a really awkward date.
Yeah.
And also one of the X Kids is dealing with his feelings. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the extent of that.
Yeah. Next we have Cable number 150, and he's talking to who's he talking to? Shatterstar, I believe. Another one of the 90 X-Men that we're bringing back for some reason. And
Shatterstar shows up in 2 books this week, I think.
So what happens is apparently Selena, who's immortal, is one of several immortals, and now there's only supposed to be 2, and one of them's dead. So Shatterstar goes with Deadpool, and apparently he can read goes with Cable, and he can read dead people's impulses and brainwaves and all that sort of thing, figure out how they died. So they realized that, Selena's the next stop, and because Selena's so powerful, Cable starts grabbing up the new mutants. But the funniest thing in this book is Dupe's there. And I've never been a Dupe fan, but Dupe is he's called the Street Scorpion, and he's racing sports cars. He's street racing in sports cars, man. It's hilarious.
Dude, Dupe is awesome. I love Dupe.
Dude, I mean, he's got the slicked up car. He's got the sunglasses. It's hilarious, man. And I can't remember who this other character is. Dude, who was in this book? It's Longshot.
It's Cable, Longshot,
and Shatterstar. Yeah, it's Longshot. Longshot was in the beginning. This is Shatterstar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Longshot who shows up in 2 books this week.
Yeah. So anyhow, we finally meet Selena. Not only is she not the last immortal, there's a bunch of them there, and we go from there.
Yeah, it's kicking off a new story arc in Cable.
Yeah, it's not bad. This is Cable 150. They did the whole legacy numbering thing. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. It's only the first issue of the story.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I'm talking like I didn't enjoy it.
Who's doing the art in this? Because it's really good.
I literally just closed it. The creators. It doesn't say. Let's go here. Well, you get Avenger Champions number 13 queued up.
Yeah.
John Malan.
Okay. I don't know who that is, but either way, his art in Cable 150 is really good. The I'm putting this in Avengers because it's crossing over with Avengers now. But Champions number 13, the High Evolutionary is up to some weird stuff on Earth. He's sent some minions here, and there's some sort of vibration happening where all the tallest buildings in the world are going to collapse. So they spend most of the issue trying to prevent that from happening. Then at the end, there's been this tension between Vision and Viv for most of the last
since the Vision book ended.
Yeah, since the Vision book ended, really. And they're just about to start talking, and he's about to admit what's going on, and it has something to do with her future. And all of a sudden, she disappears along with Falcon, and a few of the other heroes just suddenly up and vanish. And they find themselves rematerialized on some other planet, which I'm going to assume is the alternate Earth on the other side of the sun where the High Evolutionary lives.
Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah. It wasn't half bad. It's a little convoluted. We'll see where it goes. It's going to cross over with Avengers here next week. So, and it's like crossing over for it's like a 12-issue story, isn't it? So we're going to be doing this for a while.
I think it's 6.
Is it 6? Okay. All right.
I think it's good. 3 issues of Avengers and 3 issues of Champions.
Okay.
And then we get into the Avengers going weekly. With that whole story arc that does last 12 or 13 or 14 issues.
Yeah, No Surrenders 12 issues. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I can deal with that.
Yeah. So next up is it's not in our X books. It's Deadpool versus Old Man Logan. And the first 3 or 4 pages are hilarious because somebody is dropping things on Wolverine and Logan. And all Logan says is, Wolverine to Deadpool, Logan to Deadpool, I told you not to double dare them. And it's like a car, a bus, a bigger bus, a gas tanker, and then finally a 747. Oh, they're just dropping it on them, trying to slow them down and kill them. And then finally we go back 2 days earlier. So you had this whole thing began, which is Wolverine's after a New Mutant, someone whose powers have just manifested, and Deadpool hears him and starts chasing him, and they find a girl. Well, first thing they do is they argue and fight over whether or not Deadpool can help him because Logan doesn't want his help, and Deadpool insists on going. Then they find a girl, then they try and save the girl. Then we get to, we start getting up to where we are now. So yeah, it's not bad.
Is this?
It was really entertaining, actually.
Is this taking place in the Old Man Logan universe, or is this ours? Okay.
Yeah, this is ours.
I couldn't tell because that Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe thing. It takes place in that universe,
right?
So the art in this is really good too.
The art's good. It's an entertaining book. As we've discussed many times, if you're going to write Deadpool, you got to do it right. And whoever did this did it right.
Who is writing this?
Dude, that's a Cable book. You wait until I close the book to ask me these questions. I was going to Marvel Strike Force to get my energy, and now it's not loading.
Here, let's see if
I got it. Declan Shavley is writing it. Mike Henderson is drawing it.
Well, that's why it's so good. Declan Shavley is writing it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
you say so.
He's one of the new movers and shakers in comic books coming up. So, yeah. Okay. Doctor Strange number 26, written by John Barber and art by Nico Henrikon. Don't know who John Barber is, but this was a really good issue of Doctor Strange. We've moved on to a new creative team and some new stories, and it's basically, now that Zelma Stanton has become his apprentice, each issue is a lesson that he's teaching her. And as we start off in this book, 3 very powerful mages are trapped in this temple and come to their doom in some horrific manner. Fast forward some 5,000 years, they find this same temple in a subway station in Queens. And they infiltrate the ancient magical temple and find the corrupted souls of these mages that Doctor Strange has come here to cleanse, essentially. And it's really cool because what he ends up doing is he ends up taking whatever creature has corrupted the souls of these mages and taking it upon himself. And instead of cleansing it, he corrupts it back and is able to neutralize it. The art in this is really good too, and he's able to free their souls. And Zelma's like, hey, since we're here, why don't we look around and see what else is in this old creepy temple under New York City? So yeah, it was good.
Good.
I'm actually enjoying Doctor Strange again.
And you know what else I'm enjoying again is this Guardians book. Because, dude, it's been a few years since the Guardians were any good. You had that whole Grounded thing, which was basically a bunch of solo stories. And the first few issues of Jerry Dugan, who's the writer, and Rod Reyes, who's the artist. Let's get that out of the way, so you don't ask me at the end. The first few issues of their run was just kind of, yeah, that's kind of how it was. But the last couple of issues, they've kind of picked it up. And in this issue, they're on Earth looking for the Infinity Stones. Doctor Strange is talking to Gamora, taking her inner mind, which is still part of the Soul Gem. Drax is talking to Cable, trying to find the gems. Loki's looking for them. They're all looking for them. They decide to leave. Turns out Deadpool has stowed away on their ship. They throw Deadpool off, and then when they get in space, they find Ant-Man is on the ship, which explains how he is with them in the Infinity books because, he's stowed away on their ship. And then they go to Florida and talk to Man-Thing some, and turns out that Groot and Man-Thing can communicate somehow, which is pretty entertaining.
That makes sense. They're both plant creatures, so, they talk tree.
So, they talk tree, and there you go. And this goes straight into the Infinity Quest. So, yeah, it's good, man. It's a good book.
Yeah, ramping up to Countdown or Infinity Countdown.
Yeah.
Which, when do we get the
it
first
says
issue
Infinity Quest. I think you get Infinity Quest, then you get Infinity Countdown.
Yeah, when do we get the first issue of Countdown? Because that's the next big event.
See, I didn't think it came out till February.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit.
January or February, so you got 2 or 3 months, man. Yeah. But again, it's been kind of convoluted because you got Infinity Quest and you got Infinity Countdown.
And then there's Infinity something else after that.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, there's the Infinity Countdown is counting down to another Infinity event.
I guess, man. And the thing about Infinity Countdown is they put a book out in mid-March and then didn't put one out again until like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It was bizarre, man. I mean, it was bizarre shipping dates. And it didn't ship late. I mean, that's the way they planned it. It's peculiar, man. It's different.
Well, that is odd.
Yeah.
What is also odd is that Tony Stark has gone missing. As we see in Invincible Iron Man number 593, sweet looking cover by Adi Granov here. He did a bunch of Iron Man covers back in the day. I say back in the day, it was like 2009. But yeah, he was doing those Iron Man covers for a long time when Matt Fraction was on the run. And yeah, it's always good to see him do Iron Man stuff again. We start with a little monologue from Friday about how Tony Stark got to be in this condition. If you read Civil War 2, you'll know that Tony Stark, after that battle with Carol Danvers, was left in some sort of coma, and it was caused by some sort of Tony Stark has changed his biology in such a way and in so many ways over the years that nobody really knows what was going on with him, but he is, for whatever reason, unresponsive and in a coma. So she kind of details that. We have the opening of Stark Expo. Mary Jane finds out that the board of Stark Industries has voted to take over the company when they get an alert that Tony Stark has gone missing. His body has disappeared. And the thing is, Friday didn't notice, which is odd because Friday is the artificial intelligence that should have known. Meanwhile, at Rikers Island, there's been a huge breakout, and all these folks are investigating, the local police and the feds and whoever. And we find out that since Secret Empire, S.H.I.E.L.D. is no more. And so that makes things difficult to do. Nobody really knows what jurisdiction is anymore because S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone. Cue Iron Man showing up, Victor Von Doom, and they try to stop him, but he just casts a spell on him, and they all decide to start hugging each other,
which is pretty cute.
It's funny because they're just like, I feel like I need a hug. Oh, I need a hug too, and they're just hugging each other. Doom starts to investigate when Ben Grimm shows up. He and Ben, go back and forth a little bit. Ben basically tells him, look, maybe you got everybody else fooled, but I got you pegged. I know who you are. Maybe you think you've turned over a new leaf, but one day, now or later, you're going to reveal yourself for who you really are, and I'm going to be there to stop you. And that's when Victor Von Doom just disappears and decides to go somewhere else. And of course, the spell breaks, and all the guys are like, that was weird. Why were we all hugging each other? And one guy's like, does anybody want to continue hugging? I kind of enjoyed it. They're like, dude, get a hold of yourself.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the Stark facility in New Jersey, Friday, Mary Jane, Riri Williams, and Tony Stark's mom have discovered that he's gone missing. And they go through a number of scenarios of what might have happened to him. Whether he was kidnapped or somebody took him or whatever. Basically, what they decide to do is contact all the Avengers, see if they've seen him. And from there, they don't really know what they're going to do. Elsewhere, there's this pod, and the door of this pod opens, and a very naked, bald man falls out. And he struggles over to a set of Iron Man armor that's on the other side of the room, touches the armor, and it encases himself in it and just lays on the floor for a while. So I take it that here's my theory. That's where the issue ends. So we'll see where it goes. Here's my theory. All the while that this Tony Stark's old body was sitting around, you had this AI version of him that was teaching Riri Williams. It was essentially a digital version of himself. He's been growing a replacement body for himself in a lab somewhere. The body was done. The timer went off. Ding, we're done. And he transferred all of his consciousness into the new body. That's what I think happened. But I don't know. We'll find out.
Possible. Yeah, it's a plausible theory. Incredible Hulk number 709. First off, this is Greg Pak writing and Greg Land drawing, returning it to
Sakaar.
Planet Hulk, Sakaar. And it's just totally cool. Okay, it really is. Amadeus Cho doesn't want to be there, but the people ask for his help, and the only way he can help them is by fighting the Warlord and his minions. And Amadeus Cho, being Amadeus Cho, is like, no, I can talk my way out of this. I can work everything out. And the people are like, no, we need the World Breaker. We don't need you. We need the Hulk. And if you've read all the issues up to this, I think we're on 25 or 26. Amadeus Cho, the visualization they give you is Amadeus Cho driving in a car and the Hulk locked in the trunk. 709, yeah.
Yeah. You said 24 or 25.
Yeah, last issue it was 24 or 25. This week it's 709.
Because Marvel messed with the numbering and now we're all confused.
Yes.
Anyway, continue.
So during this series, the visualization they've used is Amadeus Cho driving a car and the Hulk locked in the trunk. and not being able to get out. And these people need the World Breaker. And as the fighting starts, Amadeus Cho starts getting beat up. Civilians are being killed. And there's one page where he and the Hulk are arguing. And the Hulk's like, dude, I got to do this. And Amadeus Cho's like, no. And finally the Hulk says, shut up and give me the will. And we get the World Breaker. Yeah. And the lady literally asks for forgiveness and embrace him at the same time. Because, dude, he's the World Breaker Hulk. Not Amadeus Cho anymore. Not anybody holding something back. But, you know, yes. The guy that can smash the whole planet apart if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Mad Max Fury Road aesthetic that Sakaar seems to have now.
Yeah, it didn't have that before, but it seems to now because it's running out of resources. And Thanos hasn't killed half the world's population yet. So, you know, it's running out of resources, and that's what it is.
Yeah, well, of course, Mad Max Fury Road didn't exist back when the original Planet Hulk was going on. So I see that whoever the artist and writer are on this, well, Greg Pak and whoever the artist is, they've taken some cues from Mad Max, which is cool.
Dude, Mad Max has been around since the 80s.
But Fury Road wasn't out.
It's the same thing, man. Just a reboot.
But there is a visual style that came with Fury Road that wasn't necessarily there before.
Okay, if you say so.
It's similar, but not quite the same.
It's okay. Sure, whatever.
I don't know, man. That splash page where he lands on the planet and that lady's talking to him, that's straight out of Fury Road.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying straight out of Fury Road. I'm saying Mad Max has been around since, you know,
well, I'm aware.
82, 83.
Yeah, I'm aware, but there's a certain look that Fury Road has that the other movies don't.
Okay.
We're going to move on to talk about Luke Cage number 166, which I actually really enjoyed. David F. Walker writing it, Guillermo Sanna on the art. After all the stuff that went on in the last 6 issues of the book, Luke Cage decides to get away for a little while and take a little road trip somewhere in northern Mississippi. So, you know, what could go wrong in northern Mississippi?
For a black man, lots of things.
Which is exactly what happens. As soon as he crosses the state line, he gets pulled over by some redneck cop. He flashes his Avengers card and says, look, you know, I'm just passing through. If I was speeding, sorry, but, you know, I'll be out of here soon. Cop lets him go and radios to dispatch that they're going to have a problem. Luke Cage stops at a diner, gets a bite to eat, and the waitress stops and talks to him and says, you're Luke Cage, right? Yeah. And she starts telling him about this problem she's had with her husband and about how she has this idea that someone's planted memories in her mind. About that time, a bunch of police officers show up in SWAT gear and try to beat the crap out of Luke Cage, which doesn't go well for them. They actually end up gassing him and knocking him out, which is what they should have done in the first place. Then Luke Cage wakes up and finds that the town has been taken over by the ringmaster, and he's controlling everyone's mind in town. And now he's got Luke Cage. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Interesting. Why the ringmaster wants a small podunk town in northern Mississippi, who knows?
There you go.
Yeah.
Mighty Thor 700. Did you ever read any Homer when you were growing up?
No.
The Iliad.
I'm familiar with the Iliad, but no, I've never read it.
I've to be specific, I had the Iliad read to me when I was a child. Then my grandfather read the Odyssey to me, and then I read the Odyssey a couple times. If you read,
because I can't make it through some of that stuff.
While I'm talking about this, which is why you're having trouble keeping up with Thor. Turn to page 23 of this Thor book.
Okay, I'll have to get to it.
Yeah, I know it'll take you a moment. I'm going to talk a moment. The Odyssey is a long, drawn-out story, and it's got all these plot lines and all these things going on. It's more than an epic because it's just and what's the hero's name? I just forgot. Anyway, he's trying to get home to his wife, and he finally gets there. No, Homer's to Arthur.
Oh, Odysseus.
Odysseus, thank you. Is trying to get home to his wife, and she's got all these dudes who want to marry her. And anywho, it's just this long, grand story. It's like Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's massive. What Jason Aaron is doing in Thor, starting with however many years ago he wrote it, is the same way. It's a massive story told across a multitude of books and issues. I don't even know how many issues he's written. He's probably at 100 issues at this point. If you count the mini series like Unworthy Thor, if you count things like that, he's probably somewhere in 100 issues. I don't even know.
He's been the writer on Thor for several reboots. So, dude, he's been writing Thor since at least 2012 or 2013.
So, and you've had this war that's going on among the gods brewing for years. And in this issue, he brings all of that together. Now, here's what happened. This was the one book I didn't have read. So I opened at lunch thinking I could read the 18, 20 some odd pages, real quickly, be done with it. Instead, the sucker 54 pages. It has a massive storyline. It's got the Blood Thor in it. It's got Odinson in it. It's got the Jane Foster Thor in it. It's got Throg the Frog in it. It's got Hulk in it. It's got a young Thor and a young Loki from centuries ago. And you don't understand how all this is being woven together until you get to the end and you realize Hela and Thanos are looking at this. And this is because they're seeing all dimensions at all time at the same time. So they're seeing Jane Foster fight the Hulk. They're seeing Throg capture this guy who's a murderer and then help Jane Foster. They're seeing the young Hulk and the young Loki at the same time. And the bottom line is she wants a lot of people in hell and Thanos wants the Infinity Gems, and they're both getting what they want in this issue. And the page I directed you to is a future reality where Mangog has consumed Galactus, or Galactus has consumed Mangog. That's the question that Jason Aaron asks. And he gets in a fight with Ego, and Ego the Living Planet, because he eats one of the Ego's grandkids. And dude, it's off the chain, man. And when you're done, Ego bites off one of his arms, and then Ego is possessed by Mangog. It's pretty entertaining, man. It's a good read.
All right. I'll confess I didn't read this because it wasn't assigned to me and it was 54 pages. So I put that in the read later pile. It's number 700, so I should have expected it to be big.
I should have too, but I didn't. On the last page, you got Mangog. I didn't even realize there's another 3 or 4 pages at the end. You got the War Thor going after him. Dude, this is building up to, we know what it's building up to. I've given you enough teasers for 1 week. Yeah.
We know where it's going.
Yeah.
Monsters Unleashed number 7. This book is good if you're enjoying it. It's one of those all ages books, which seem to be hot right now. Just as an aside, did you read that Tilting at Windmills article from a month or so ago on Comic Beat?
No.
Okay. So Tilting at Windmills is one of these like kind of introspections at the industry type thing. And the writer, whose name I can't remember, for Tilting at Windmills does what's called a book scan analysis every year. And basically what it is, it's the sales numbers from bookstores, not the direct market, but bookstores, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, stores like that. And what he looks at specifically are what is selling in the comics and graphic novels area. And he did a big analysis for the last year and realized the all ages books are selling like hotcakes. The all ages books aren't just selling like hotcakes. It's what's keeping these publishers going right now. You're seeing a decline in a lot of these comic books, especially Marvel, we've talked before about how, back in the 80s and 90s, even in the 90s, the, sales numbers for a comic book would be, 100,000 copies. Now if you sell 10,000 copies, it's a hit.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying in graphic novel form, they're selling tons of all ages content. And that's why you're seeing so many all ages books come out
now. Okay.
Anyway, this Monsters Unleashed book is one of them.
It's not for us.
Kid Kai. No, it's not. But Kid Kai he draws a monster that most of his monsters that he draws are friendly to him. But this one turns out not to be, and spends most of the time chasing him and Elsa Bloodstone through the Savage Land.
Yeah.
The interesting thing here is he decides that he can draw a place to send the monster to. He can draw somewhere and banish the monster to that place. He starts to draw something and has a vision of the Venomverse, which was interesting to me.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Just flip through the book real quick. You'll see. And then the actual Fin Fang Foom shows up at the end and fights the imposter Fin Fang Foom. And that's what we're going to be doing next issue.
Ah.
So, you know how I feel about Fin Fang Foom. So
yes.
I'll probably skip the next issue.
Yeah. Secret Warriors #7. This is okay. About the most interesting part of this is Karnak's got the new job at the company that the Inhumans own, and he's some kind of executive there, and he's learning to video chat with Luna, which is pretty irritating.
Luna?
Yeah, Moon Girl.
Oh, Lunella.
Luna, whatever.
You should have just said Moon Girl. I didn't know who you meant.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he learns to video chat with her, and there's like 2 or 3 different pages where he's video chatting with her, and she's trying to get the band back together. She's trying to get the Secret Warriors back together. And Daisy Johnson Quake is on a mission to kill Deadpool because he killed Coulson. And Daisy's not getting the job done, so Bullseye's still there, who hired her, and he's starts tagging Daisy, and then the rest of the heroes show up, and it's kind of a half a save the day moment. It's to be continued next issue. It's not a bad read if you're into these characters. If you're into Daisy Johnson, if you're into Moon Girl, Karnak, all these guys, it's not a bad read. It's not great.
Yeah. Then we have Thor versus Hulk, Champions of the Universe. You and I have both confessed that we don't really care for this book, so I'm gonna make it quick. Thor goes to therapy and has to fight all his other doppelgangers from all across reality, and Bruce Banner ends up in a white room where he can't get out of, but all of a sudden a lady shows up that he finds very attractive, and they try to figure out a way to get out of the room, when suddenly the Hulk shows up and crushes her to death, and then her dead body starts talking to Bruce Banner about how this is what happens to everyone he loves. It was really creepy. It was really kind of unnerving. And yeah, it took a really weird dark turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next we have Venom 156, which, the Eddie Brock and Venom somehow saved these people in the sewers, so they're their heroes. And he comes home, and one of the dragon people from the sewers is there in his house because he's been shot by Kraven the Hunter. Yes.
Time out. They're not people in the sewers. They're lizard people.
Okay, lizard people, dragons, people, whatever. It's sitting there talking to him, man. Come on.
Yeah, these aren't like who are the mutants that live in the sewers?
I'm drawing a blank.
Me too. Anyway,
when Callisto leads.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not like a homeless guy in a drainage ditch. It's lizard people living in the sewers of New York.
Yeah. So anywho, one of the lizard people, dragon people, whatever, is shot. Comes to Eddie for help. Turns out Kraven the Hunter is hunting him and shot the lizard / dragon / whatever to get Eddie's attention. Puts around in Eddie, and Eddie winds up going to the hospital, which is just, all bad for everybody.
Yeah. There you go.
The art's good in this book. I skimmed over it because I'm not a huge Venom fan, but this book is selling off the chains, and the art's really good. So there you go.
I like the cover. The cover was good.
Yeah, it was all done by Mark Bagley.
Oh, that's why I like it.
Yeah, that's why it's all good.
Moving on to our Star Wars books, we have Poe Dameron number 20. So on the planet of Cato Neimoidia, it's where the Neimoidians are from. If you remember, those are the ones who were running the Trade Federation during the prequels. Well, they were all deposed and taken out of power during the Empire. So all that's left is their vaults where they kept all their riches. And we're going through a guided tour of the vaults here on Cato Neimoidia when a masked guy in the tour group slips away from the group and finds a particular vault and slips into it unannounced to find a not a Jedi and not a Sith holocron, but one that is both. It is a holocron that can only be read when used with the dark side and the light side at the same time. And of course, as he's about to get away, they discover him. Turns out it's Lor San Tekka, who Poe Dameron's been looking for this whole time. He's been captured. The Resistance gets this information and says, "Hey, we can go get him. We know where he is, but also he's been captured, and it's all bad." So they're gonna have to engineer a prison break. Meanwhile, there's some personal things going on with Black Squadron. They're all in a funk. Leia's worried about their luck running out because she knows they're gonna have to fight a war with the First Order, and no one wants to hear about it. The resistance that she's put together is incredibly small compared to what the rebellion was. And she knows that the threat is there of the First Order, but no one wants to hear it, and no one wants to think that those times can come back. So she's not been able to recruit people like she should have been, and she's worried that once this Cold War that's heating up breaks out, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to confess I did not read Captain Phasma, but I just glanced at it real quick. The art in this book is just so good, man.
Yeah, I think this is the last issue, isn't it?
It is. She finally catches up with Rivas, and she doesn't kill him. And the pilot was instructed to stay in the starship or the TIE fighter. She didn't, and instead she overheard everything that Captain Phasma and Rivas said, and Captain Phasma winds up killing her, and then she goes back and catches up with the fleet and lives happily ever after. To be continued in the Last Jedi.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I apologize for that hasty recap. Dude, this art is amazing, man.
It was a really good book. When I read the first issue, I went back and read all of them. So
Marco Checchetto. I've never read. I'm not familiar with him, but dude, that's good. That's good art.
Yeah, it was good, man. I really enjoyed the series. I would like more.
Yeah.
Which supposedly we're supposed to get more because they announced a new cartoon animated feature coming out soon, and it's called Star Wars Resistance. And Gwendolyn Christie is coming to voice her character Captain Phasma on the show. So
yes, she is. There was like 2 characters from the movie that are coming over to the cartoon, and she's one of them.
Her and Oscar Isaacs, who plays Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that cartoon. What was your favorite book this week?
There's not a really great book. Hulk 709 was good. Thor 700. The Guardians book wasn't bad, actually. I'm going to go Thor 700.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Invincible Iron Man 593 because I've been interested in the story for a while and always enjoy a good Iron Man story.
Yeah. This week in the dump, we get more Spectacular Spider-Man and more Defender stuff that should have been there for years and is now finally there.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps us up this week. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
Their website is www.6monthsbehind.com, where you can find our Infinity War podcast and the notes to go with it.
Yeah, we did a what's next on the Infinity Gauntlet, the original run on Infinity Gauntlet. So go read that, or at least listen to that episode before you go see Infinity War if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah, and I just give you a tip: just read the Infinity Gauntlet, read the 6 issues, because it really is close to the movie.
Yeah.
Except where in the movie it's the Hulk smashing through the Sanctum Sanctorum. In the comic book, it's the Silver Surfer. But Marvel doesn't own the rights to the Silver Surfer, so they made it Hulk.
Yeah.
Or didn't at the time.
Right. Yeah. Now they do. And they can use the Silver Surfer whenever they want to, or Galactus, or Doctor Doom, or all the Fantastic Four, and even Herbie the Robot.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, it brings us to our wisdom for the week. I talked about this when I was coming home and we were planning all of this and the music festival and everything. Our buddy Rob over at Comics Explained did a video review of the Avengers Thursday night, like 11 o'clock, right after he got out of the movie. Just went and just popped up his camera for about 20 minutes and talked about it. In the header to the video, it says there are spoilers to the movie. Okay. When he starts the video, he says, okay, I've just seen the movie. I'm going to talk about it. And then there's still people in on the comments hating on him for talking about and spoiling the movie. So here's the thing. First off, don't tell your friends Infinity War spoilers. That's wisdom 1A. Okay. If you've seen the movie and your friends haven't, don't tell them about it. Number 2, if you see an article or a video or anything that says spoilers included, don't get mad if you see the spoilers when you read, watch it, or hear it. That's wisdom 1B.
Dude, like, I don't understand that. You were given multiple warnings. You got spoiled on it. It's your fault.
It's your fault, man. I don't understand it.
You know, Meg Downey was talking about this on Twitter the other day. It was like, look, if you don't want to be spoiled, that's fine. But there is a responsibility of yours to avoid stuff like that. It is not everyone else's responsibility to just not put stuff out there. Now, I'll admit, especially within a movie like this, there are certain publications that I'll get upset with because they like to, day of the movie releasing, before anybody's seen it, start talking about spoilers in their headlines, which they post on social media. That bothers me. But if you really don't want spoilers and you're worried about spoilers and you're that worried about spoilers, the responsibility is on you, brother.
Dude, I didn't see The Last Jedi until Christmas Day, which at that point it had been out a couple of weeks, maybe. I mean, it'd been out a while.
2-3 weeks.
I was literally saving articles to read them later. Okay, I all but had to do an internet blackout not to know what happened on that movie. And I just saved articles. Okay, now I've seen the movie. Now I can go back and read the articles. It's what you got to do, man. If you choose not to see it opening weekend, it's on you not to see the spoilers.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's your wisdom for the week. We will see you all next time.
Peace.